Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. We have some news, so let's get to it. The very first thing I'm going to talk about is Creative Beast Studio and the Beasts of the Mesozoic Ceratopsian line. We've got a few new prototypes that have been revealed, so let's take a look at each one. We've got the Utah Ceratops finally fully painted and looking absolutely beautiful. I really do quite like the paint application on it. The only thing I can say that I'm not a huge fan of is just how dark the face is. I think maybe some of that lighter like yellow or orange coloration would have looked a little better on the face instead of that dark blue. But overall I think the coloration is really striking. The design and pattern is also really nicely done. And this is another of the many very flashy looking Ceratopsians that still manage to look incredibly natural, incredibly realistic. Really nice choices as far as the colors that they used, and the paint scheme in general is really well done. Again, it is another really well done looking Ceratopsian. Then we've got the Torosaurus, and this one is really cool. I never would have expected a very bright blue to look so good on a Ceratopsian, but this one actually really looks quite nice. And again, the blues are maybe not the most realistic shade that you would expect to see on a Ceratopsian, but considering nobody has ever actually seen a Ceratopsian in real life, we can't really say for sure that they weren't this coloration and this bright color of blue. Personally, I am more of a fan of darker colors on Ceratopsians, but this really does work quite well in general on this figure, and I think that it looks very well done, beautifully painted. I really like the design on the frill and everything, nice and flashy but simple at the same time. So this is another really beautiful looking paint job done on another Beast of the Mesozoic figure. I really do like the black and then the different shades of blue and everything included. Again, I think the blue might be a little too bright, but at the same time it does still look really nice, and this is another of the many that I would like to get my hands on when these figures officially do release. And the final one that we have to look at is just really kind of a quick sample because it's not the full gallery or anything that has been released by David Silva quite yet, but it is a sneak peek at the Pentaceratops, and this looks absolutely gorgeous. This may end up being one of my favorite paint schemes out of all of these that are coming out, and I think the paint application, the way it's applied, looks really, really good. I'm super psyched to see the gallery of this when David Silva officially does drop that for us. But as of right now, this may end up being my favorite out of all of the Ceratopsians, and I am a huge fan in general of Pentaceratops, so this may be a surefire pickup for me. And speaking of Ceratopsians, we finally got our first sneak peek at the Rebor Triceratops, and I will say that it looks absolutely beautiful, just like I expected it to. We had seen a silhouette of it a while back, so that kind of showed us at least a sneak peek of what it was going to look like with the split horn and everything, and we can now see that here really beautifully presented in this image that Rebor just recently uploaded to Facebook, and I think that it is really, really well sculpted. It's not the best image because there are parts of the Ceratopsian cut off. I can't wait to see a full image of this figure, but I definitely am quite impressed by this, and I think that this is going to be one of the best Rebor figures of all time, without question, because overall it looks like it is absolutely sculpted to the max and beautifully done. Really, really excited to see this when it's painted up and everything, and to eventually own it whenever it does officially release. Then here is a resin kit of a 1/15th scale Majungasaurus that is actually ready to order already. The price is $255 US, including shipping, and I think that overall it is really beautifully done. Very, very nice looking sculpt. I'd love to see one with the actual paint application included and everything to get a better idea of just how beautiful it looks when it's actually fully finished, but just from these images alone, I think that it is really nicely done. Beautiful looking rocky type of a base. It kind of looks like a mountain ledge or something that it's walking up onto and giving off a roar. Unfortunately, I cannot say the name of the sculptor of the figure. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I will include a link in the description to anybody that is interested in picking one up, so check down there if you are in fact interested, and I will link you to his page on Facebook where you can inquire further about ordering this very nice looking Majungasaurus. Then as far as Schleich goes, we actually got some images of an in-hand Ankylosaurus for their upcoming 2020 figures, and a lot of people are kind of split down the middle on this. A lot of people like it, a lot of people hate it. I personally think that it's really nice looking. Maybe not the most scientifically accurate Ankylosaurus, but it really does show a lot of personality, and the paint application is really nice on it as well. I love that they've included a nice dark wash on it, like Schleich does do from time to time, and I think it always adds such an extra level of realism to their figure, and that is what I see here. The coloration looks very cool, very natural, really well done. The sculpt, again, maybe not the best, but overall I think that it's a very appealing looking Ankylosaurus, and I really do want to get a hold of all of these 2020 Schleichs to review here on the channel. I think the only one I'm really not too excited about is the Cryolophosaurus, but stupid me will probably buy it anyway and review it for you guys regardless, because I'm just kind of at a lack of brain power at this point in my life. And then as far as Nanmu goes, we have images of the upcoming paint scheme for Velociraptor Blue, and I'm not super impressed. I mean, it looks pretty nice, but I think the coloration isn't really perfectly done, especially around the right eye. It doesn't trail underneath the eye like Blue's blue stripe does. It's not perfect, I will say that. They did a decent job on it, but it's just not exactly like Blue looks. So hopefully it'll be retooled a little bit and it'll look a little better when the figure actually gets painted up and released, but as of right now I'm not super sold on it. It does still look really cool. It's just not something that I'm extremely excited about from Nanmu like many of their other figures. And also, speaking of upcoming figures, we actually have some sneak peeks from Papo for their 2020 line as well. We have 3 different sneak peeks. As you can see, one here, I'm not really sure what type of species it is. It almost looks like it would be a sauropod due to the longer neck here, but at the same time I really don't know that it is. It's just tough to tell. It might be something entirely different, but I think the paint scheme on this looks really nice. As usual from Papo, they always include very realistic looking shades of color, and this is a somewhat brighter looking paint scheme on their part, but it still looks really good. Then we have some sort of a Pachycephalosaur here. I don't know exactly what type it is. I don't know if it's a Stygimoloch or what exactly, but it looks to be really well done. Again, nice paint apps on this one from what we can see. We can't really see the entire body, but what we can see as far as the dome skull and everything does look to be painted really nicely and also sculpted quite beautifully. And then the final one is this one, which I don't know entirely what it is, but it looks like some species of Tyrannosaur. Again, this is all entirely speculation. We have no idea until Papo officially unveils the images, but once again, the paint looks really well done. The sculpt looks beautiful. You can see some really nice skin wrinkling there in the neck. So until they get released, we at least have these images to drool over a little bit, and I'm really psyched to find out what all of these species are. Hopefully we'll be getting more than 3 prehistoric figures for 2020, but as of right now, we only have 3 teasers. And the final thing that I want to show you guys were a few images from Collect Jurassic of an in-hand Sauropelta from Mattel. It does look really cool. It would have been nice to actually see this out of the package and get a better look at the figure itself as opposed to just this aerial type view of the upper part of the dinosaur. But it does still look really exciting. I cannot wait to get a hold of this figure because we just don't get too many figures of this species, so one from Mattel is super awesome, and you can see so much articulation included that I'm really interested to get a hold of this, get it in hand, and check out just how well the articulation works. But I did want to show you guys these images here of the package and the figure itself to show you exactly what it looks like in person. It definitely looks really beautiful. So as of right now, guys, that's all the news I've got. When more comes out, I'll be sure to send it your way, but until then, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.